This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Queenstown's Mayor and Airport Chief welcome the first flights back to the tourist resort. A panel of judges make the first cuts to select finalists in this year's ID Emerging Designer Fashion Awards. And environmentally aware young Southern School pupils gather to help solve the planet's issues. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi o te ahiahi nei, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. After more than a year, the first Trans-Tasman bubble flight into Queenstown has arrived. The region's mayor was one of the first people to welcome international visitors to the resort.
It's been a long 387 days between touchdowns for Queenstown's beleaguered tourism sector.
Massive. Look, lots of businesses have failed, lots of businesses were on the cusp. This is I've talked about the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a very bright light at the end of the tunnel that's going to keep those businesses from going bust.
Queenstown Lakes District Mayor Jim Bolt was at the airport to welcome the first flight, along with many friends and whānau. About 100 people were on the flight, some running into loved ones' arms in the airport. The terminal erupted into claps and cheers as the first international tourists arrived in the resort for more than a year. Queenstown Airport Board Chairwoman Adrian Young-Cooper says it's fantastic to have the town open to flights from Australia.
This is not going to be back to where things were in 2019, but it is actually the start of a really important recovery from an international perspective.
She's glad the Trans-Tasman bubble has opened now and says it could have been much later. Following Qantas's first flight yesterday, Air New Zealand's first Trans-Tasman touchdown is due to arrive in Queenstown today. In Queenstown, The South Today.
A house in Waitati was completely destroyed by fire this morning. Fire and Emergency New Zealand says crews were called to the scene in Double Hill Road just after 5 a.m. 2 fire trucks from Waitati and Willowbank initially responded, but issues with water supply meant crews from Palmerston and Dunedin were also required. An ambulance was also called to check on an occupant of the house, but it was not required and later stood down. Fenn says the house was extensively damaged. A team of judges have made the initial selection towards this year's ID International Emerging Designers Fashion Awards. 3 women, known as the godmothers of Dunedin fashion, spent the better part of yesterday looking through 150 entries spanning the globe.
The first cut is the deepest. 40 finalists have been selected from 150 entries covering 20 countries around the world for this year's ID Dunedin Emerging Designers Fashion Awards.
It seems that the digital skills of the entrants are way up, so the really polished submissions, fantastic photos. Everybody seems quite positive about their futures, which is fantastic.
The international travel bubble with Australia may be open, but head judge Tanya Carlson says, like last year, contestants aren't travelling to New Zealand.
So obviously this year, like last year when they're not coming, the contestants aren't coming here to New Zealand, so we are going to do a final audit, a sort through, and the finalists will be announced next week, and then they will be underway to make themselves a presentation video.
Carlson leads a team of highly qualified judges who spent the better part of a day poring through portfolios sent to Dunedin from across the globe. Chair of ID Margot Barton's next step is writing to the unsuccessful candidates. She says she always encourages them to try again next year and admits it's not part of the role she enjoys.
All of the entrants are just brilliant, so I hate having to send the "I'm sorry you didn't get in" email, but I'm hoping that those people will apply again next year.
Like last year, COVID-19 has affected the event and the industry as a whole. Tanya Carlson has noticed this year's entrants seem to have a brighter outlook.
It's brought out incredible creativity and surprisingly, I think a real aura of kind of hope and a sense of fun and not anxiety, which is what I thought that we would see. There's lots of colour, volume, playfulness and a lot of exploration around nostalgia.
Organisers say finalists will be asked to submit a video which will be shown to the international judging panel. There are several awards on offer, with the winners due to be announced on Saturday 19th June at the movie premiere and runway show, set to feature designs from the 10 New Zealand finalists. In Dunedin, the South Today.
3 people were arrested in Dunedin last night for travelling around the student quarter in a car verbally and physically assaulting pedestrians. Senior Sergeant Craig Dennison says police received multiple calls from residents alleging a group of teenagers had been driving around abusing people and getting into fights. Dennison says the vehicle was located in Frederick Street at around 9 p.m. yesterday and 5 people were identified as culprits. He says it's not known exactly how many people were assaulted by the group, but he believes multiple people were attacked in the spree. Environmentally minded school children from around Southland have gathered together for a day of fun and learning. The aim was for EnviroSchool's pupils to learn all about Māori perspectives of the environment.
Environmentally minded school children from around Southland gathered together on Thursday for a day of fun and learning. The aim was for EnviroSchool's pupils to learn all about Māori perspectives of our environment. Environment Southland environmental education facilitator Josh Sullivan said about 120 pupils attended.
There's so many people involved, like it's just been really smooth. It's been a great start to the morning, all the kids are loving it and they're just all around all the activities. You can hear all the laughing and the giggling going on, so it's a really good sign that things are going well.
Held at the YMCA camp in Amaui, there was a range of activities including flax weaving, traditional Māori games, the aquavan, plant identification and Māori uses, as well as some art and a shared hangi. YMCA Education Operations Manager Stacey Hughes said most children were from primary school, but some secondary school pupils helped facilitate the event.
So we've got a range of activities, all focused on a Māori perspective obviously. So we've got a orienteering program focused around taonga Māori, so traditional mahinga kai. There's also native species. We've got a traditional Māori game called tapawai, some rāranga or Māori weaving. We've got a Māori art activity as well as some plant identification to specific species, native species here as well.
The day was attended by about 40 pupils from across Southland. In Amaui, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, more bad news for anyone wanting to enter the property market, and we visit a cafe which is also now distilling its own gin. Ka kite akua nei.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have got a deal for you. We're going hard, we're going early, so we've gone hard on the prices, 50% off, a great selection. Shorts, look at all these shorts. T-shirts, they're all half price. Check out all those tees along there. What about all these ones down here? Also at a great saving, 50% off. We're going hard, we're going early. Polo shirts, short sleeve shirts, there's such a variety.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's the Alex Campbell Menswear. Go hard, go early, summer sale. Don't miss this one.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
No mai nor, welcome back. The latest QV Quartile Index shows just how difficult it has become since lockdown for Kiwis to take their first steps onto the property ladder. In New Zealand's main centres, the biggest increases in house prices over the last year have occurred at the lower end of the market, homes often sought by first home buyers. In Buller and Southland, the average values of entry-level house prices have risen by 50%. However, this is partly due to these areas having a lower base value. Dunedin rower Ben Mason is refusing to give up on his bid to row around the South Island to raise funds for the New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation. The 19-year-old student has had to postpone the marathon rowing trip twice already. He has now set himself a new start date of right in the middle of winter. Mason's first attempt in January was postponed due to foul weather, and his second attempt in February was put off after advice to add more safety measures into his journey. He's hoping to raise around $20,000 towards breast cancer initiatives. A Dunedin gin still is receiving international plaudits as it marks its first anniversary. Located at the Dog with Two Tails Cafe and Bar, the No. 8 distillery still was first set up during the COVID-19 lockdown.
It might look like water, but the 4 different types of gin being created at the No. 8 distillery in Dunedin's Dog with Two Tails Cafe and Bar have a myriad of flavours, according to owner Michael Wilson.
And we've got the Harapeto Fire Gin, which is in the tank at the moment, which is quite spicy. It's got these 4 waves of flavour that come through with citrus, cardamom, cinnamon, and then right at the end some Harapeto. We've got the Dunners Dry Gin, which is kind of punchy, this bushy, herby little number with strong kawa flavour, tarata, bit of sage and thyme.
Wilson got into distilling during last year's lockdown, while he and Julien Delavoir were looking for something to do while the cafe and bar was closed. Wilson knew Delavoir had been a chef in Michelin star restaurants in France, but was unaware of his colleagues' other skills.
It was actually during the first distillation, when we were making the gin, I thought I knew what I was doing, and he seemed to be taking over all the time. I was going, he seems to know what he's up to a bit, and yeah, you'll need to be doing, oh yeah, no, he's done that now too. And turns out he's 4th generation distiller from Normandy, so I didn't know that until I tasted it. I was like, oh, Julien, this is really good.
The pair are now busy with sales of their gin through the bar and the internet, as well as a growing range of other outlets.
We've got the Targa Farmers Market, there's also Menan's Liquorland, Henry's, there's 4 online places.
And they're likely to get even busier, as they've recently won 2 silver medals and a bronze at the London Spirits competition. Wilson says the range of gins they've developed are intended to appeal to different palates and moods.
Often a group will come in and they'll have a little fight about which gin's better because they are three very different gins and different people like different flavours.
The pair are planning to move their distillery to a larger space where they can produce other alcoholic beverages such as rum. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, the impending duck shooting season could herald bad news for hunters as well as ducks. And we take a look at your midweek weather. Hei koko aki nei.
Hey, what have you got?
Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent.
Love it! Chicks World!
Chicks World! If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our three stores have got a deal for you. We're going hard, we're going early, so we've gone hard on the prices, 50% off, a great selection. Shorts, look at all these shorts. T-shirts, they're all half price. Check out all those tees along there. What about all these ones down here? Also at a great saving, 50% off. We're going hard, we're going early. Polo shirts, short sleeve shirts, there's such a variety.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's the Alex Campbell Menswear. Go hard, go early, summer sale. Don't miss this one.
Hoki mai anō. Duck shooters are being warned to buy ammunition early this season due to a possible supply shortage and retailer changes. This year's season marks the end of the use of lead shots on or near open water. Most hunters will have to use non-toxic ammunition to avoid lead contamination of waterways. Rural retailer Farmlands Cooperative have decided to stop selling ammunition and hunting supplies altogether. Farmlands says the cost, complexity and risk of compliance for both people and properties is too significant. Otago Fish and Game is advising hunters check with their local retailer before the 1st of May. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Queenstown's Mayor and Airport Chief have welcomed the first flights back to the tourist resort. A panel of judges have made the first cuts to select finalists in this year's ID Emerging Designers Fashion Awards. And environmentally aware young Southern School pupils have gathered to help solve the planet's issues. Time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, autumn leaves in North Dunedin. Looking at the situation, a mixed bag for the next few days as fronts and high pressure ridges alternate over the region, but watch for a significant cold break with snow at week's end. Now travelling to the northwest of the South Island, moderate temperatures, 18 degrees in cloud for Westport, Greymouth is sunny on 17. Across to the north of the island, showers for both Nelson and Blenheim, still mild on 18 degrees. Across to Canterbury, the cloud lightens the further down the coast we go. Kaikoura reaches 16 degrees, Christchurch 18, and it's a sunny 18 in Ashburton. Moving to the southern towns, light southeasterlies brush right across this region, carrying some rain and 15 degrees for all. Light winds and showers for the towns in central too. Tiano reaches 14 degrees. Showers should be lighter elsewhere, 16 degrees for Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra. Further north, both the light winds and showers reach Twizel and Omarama on 16 degrees. Light winds on the coast too, but otherwise only cloudy. Timaru and Oamaru on 17 degrees. In Dunedin, fine tonight with an overnight low of 8 degrees. Same tomorrow morning with some northwest winds, but southwesterlies develop during the afternoon, bringing cloud and some showers. A high of 17 and a low of 9. And at Simara on Thursday, fine at first with southwesterlies and rain developing later on. A high of 16 and a low of 8 degrees. And in Invercargill, cloud increasing and some light rain developing tonight, an overnight low of 8. The rain eases to showers tomorrow before clearing later on the day. Cool southwest winds blowing throughout, a high of 14 and a low of 9. And westerly winds freshen on Thursday with scattered light showers amidst cloudy skies, a high of 15 and a low of 8 degrees. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. We'll leave you again with a quick demonstration on how you can make your own poppy for Anzac Day. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
To make an Anzac poppy, you'll need these, plus a black pipe cleaner or wire covered in black wool. Cut out 2 squares, each 8 centimetres by 8 centimetres. Fold both of them to make a smaller square. Then fold them again to make a triangle. Cut out the petal shape. Now cut a tiny hole in the base of each flower. Make a spiral centre for the flower and thread the pipe cleaner through the holes. Arrange the petals, then bend back the wire to hold them in place. Well done! Your poppy is now ready to wear.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.